college football personalities out there, other than yourself, are most real world famous? Please don't tell me it's Brandon Walker. Well, I can assure you it's not. Brandon Walker claims to be from Mississippi. I spent yesterday in Mississippi. No one there even knew who he was. So it's not Brandon Walker. Unfortunately, it's also not me. Think about the question here. How many folks in the world of college football media are like real world famous, where people who don't care about college football know them? There's one that stands out head and shoulders. This is a classic fill in the blank and it's not even close situation, which we rarely have on this show. It's Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is recognized all over the world by people who could not pick out Gainesville, Florida on a map, people who could not name you 10 college football mascots. They know who Tim Tebow is for all kinds of different reasons. Tebow transcends college football. Tebow transcends sports. Let me give you a story. When we were at the national championship game back in January in Indianapolis, I was in the JW Marriott gym downtown in Indianapolis. That's where everyone was staying. It was the media hotel. So let me paint the picture for you. There are a lot of people in this gym that you would recognize. Marty Smith was in there. Cannell was in there. Laura Rutledge, I think, was in there at the time. A lot of folks from TV were in there because everyone's staying at the same hotel. It's the morning of the game, so a lot of people have work to do, so they're getting a quick workout in. So anyway, if you love college football, you would have been able to pick out like a dozen people in the gym. But there were also people there on normal business who didn't even know the national championship game was in town, who were staying at the Marriott. They were in there working out. They didn't really recognize any of those folks. They didn't recognize me. They didn't recognize Marty Smith. Tebow walks in, not trying to attract any attention, slips in there, has hat pulled down, and you could see every head. And you could see the whispers, and you could see this right here, this move right here. That was happening. If you're listening on a podcast, I just discreetly took an iJosh photo. That was happening all over the place. You had a couple of folks wanting to walk up and shake the hand. That is real world famous, which is a lot bigger and more broad than being college football famous. But Tebow's had that. Let me tell you the most fun thing to watch, though, when you have someone like that who's kind of polarizing for whatever reason, and he's in public. I've been to several places where Tim Tebow's there, and I always love watching his interaction with people because I know what it's like on the internet. And the most fun thing for me to do is stand back, cross my arms, and watch the difference in real-world face-to-face Tim Tebow interaction with people versus anonymous internet dude take on Tim Tebow. Because you don't have to scroll too far on the old internet before you see a dude with 57 followers, Daryl from Destin, Florida, trashing Tim Tebow anonymously. But then when Daryl meets Tim Tebow in real life, he either doesn't say a word to him or he asks for an autograph. Because there is a very big difference in seeing a grown man in person versus talking about a grown man on the internet. Which, side note, should be emphasized. Because when Tebow was in the gym, he looked like a pro wrestler. Looked like the Ultimate Warrior. I don't know what he was training for. It was impressive. Last story. This takes me back a ways. 2008 or 9, when Bama and Florida played. Tebow's in college at the time. When they played in the SEC championship game, I got a buddy back home. We'll call him Greg. We went to the game. And he's a hardcore Georgia fan, but he just went to the game. And so it's Bama versus Georgia. Like, we grew up in the SEC, so we want to go to the game. We went to it several years. This dude claims to despise Tim Tebow. I'm talking about would take a flamethrower to the very ground Tebow walked on, partly because of what Tebow had done to Georgia, and partly because, if you were a non-Florida fan in the SEC, you were just not supposed to like Tim Tebow. We're underneath the Georgia Dome where the buses pull in. And Florida's bus pulls up. And let me tell you who walks by us. Aaron Hernandez walks by us. Leave that alone. The Pouncey twins walk by, looking as intimidating as probably any human beings you'll see. And so then comes Tim Tebow. And this fool standing next to me, who has trashed Tebow in both of my ears for the last several years, I don't know how frequently, Tim Tebow walks by. This dude is able to utter 2 words. And the 2 words were, "Hey, Tim!" Almost in a falsetto. That's how high this man's voice went. That's the effect that Tebow's had ever since his playing days, up to and including whatever you call what he does today. That's the effect that he's had on people. Tim Tebow, That's the guy in the college football media world who is real world famous. There is a difference when he enters the room than when every other one of them enter the room.